Hello, everybody. I'm Sean Reynolds, about to be joined by Ken Weeb from Sportsnet. Together, we are Kenny and Renny, and this is the Kenny and Renny Seance Hour, where we try to resurrect lost Jets seasons of the past, see if we can't bring them back to life and them achieve the glory that they were supposed to in those years. No, I can tell you this. I had some time after the game, so I thought I'd come home and do the podcast from home, only to find that across the street there's power, across the backyard there's power, one block over there's power, one block over that way there's power, and yet somehow we have zero power in the neighborhood here. So we will be doing this show by a nice little ring light that I got for Christmas last year and candlelight here, everybody. So get your seance vibes going. We are going to do what we can to try and resurrect some of the things that have gone wrong, but not a lot going wrong for the Winnipeg Jets as of late. 3 straight wins now, and maybe it could not have come at a more important time. The Jets, imagine what it would look like right now if the Jets had lost their last 3 games, where they would be, what we would be talking about, what the standings would look like. I know that the Colorado Avalanche have fallen below the 8th place, that playoff line, and look like they'll stay there because the Seattle Kraken, the team that looks like they are maybe most likely to follow it, although the Edmonton Oilers are sure doing a good job of trying to look that way. Seattle looks like they're going to pull one off here tonight. Either way, the Colorado Avalanche not being able to do, I know they've dealt with their injuries longer, but the Jets surviving their injuries, and looks like the cavalry is coming right away. Colorado kind of dipping out, which would be something that I think everyone in the Western Conference would be happy with. But to tonight's game, I just think is an absolute masterpiece of trying to survive what the Jets are going through right now. Rick Bowness said something really interesting earlier on. One of the reasons he thinks the Jets are surviving the way they are is they are getting contributions clearly from the Manitoba Moose players, and I want to dig into that a little bit because I think it's all about effort. Under the Rick Bowness system, you can survive if you put effort into it, if you put the details into it. It's interesting. If you take a look in the Jets dressing room this season, they've got some credos put on the walls like most dressing rooms do. And people will say like passion and, effort and all this kind of stuff. One of the things up in the Jets room is details. And I just thought that was so interesting because, I mean, it's like something you'd, see in a science class. Details is the most important thing. I think the Jets' details have been right. We should dig in a little later on what these practices that the Jets coaches have been able to have to get this team kind of back on track. But you take a look at this game tonight. It's another one of those specials, I think, that the Winnipeg Jets, they survive this game. And maybe survive isn't fair. Maybe they were the team here tonight, although they didn't have the most shots and probably maybe didn't have the most high danger opportunities there. But the Jets took the lead, and when the game got tied up, they took another lead, and they took another lead. They were the team that, to me, kept getting out in front all the time. And they're doing it with, offense from the point. How the Jets are this consistently able to win games with shots from the point. And I'm not just talking about, it's not like this Erik Karlsson thing or, for a while in Washington, John Carlson, where it's one specific player who's just phenomenal from the point. If you take a look at all the defensemen that contributed tonight, you've got Dylan DeMello assisting, throwing one from the point, gets assisted, or he assists on a goal by Brendan Dillon, who's up by the front. Then Josh Morrissey pulls off just an absolutely phenomenal play. I have a feeling we're going to be talking about him in the Lamplighter, the Trans-Canada Brewing Company Lamplighter segment. And then at the end of it, it's the 2 young guys. Dylan Samberg passes it over to Ville Heinola, who fires it on net. It gets tipped in. 5 Jets defensemen contributing on the score sheet tonight, and really showing that the Winnipeg Jets have figured out a way to not be that pretty team and be that gritty team. And it's getting things done here tonight. And of course, you don't get this win tonight without Connor Hellebuyck doing what he did. Connor Hellebuyck was absolutely phenomenal. You heard me say this earlier this year. I do think that there's certain games where a team plays such a good team game that if there's a shutout, that sometimes the goalie does not deserve the first star of the game. I had a game earlier this year where I thought that Connor Hellebuyck didn't deserve the first star of the game, but he got it because of the shutout. By correlation, there are nights where I think that the goaltender deserves the first star on a night where they do allow a couple of goals. I thought that was it tonight. Connor Hellebuyck, to me, was the best player on the ice tonight on either team. a huge reason they survived this. But this is just the blueprint. It's Rick Bowness hockey played to a T at maximum effort up and down the lineup with this scoring from the back end that they found a way to do. They won their last game like that with Kyle Connor scoring the game winner against the Edmonton Oilers, tipping one from the point. Sam Gagner is the guy who gets it done here tonight. And you add to that great goaltending. The Jets have everything they need to still succeed. I go back to it time and time again. I hated the excuse factory that our chat room was turning into. I couldn't stand it, and this is the reason I couldn't stand it, because Connor Hellebuyck can win you games. Rick Bowness' system can win you games. Players like Josh Morrissey, Mark Scheifele, who all contributed here tonight, Pierre-Luc Dubois, they can win you games, and the Jets, rather than relying on those excuses, have leaned into the ways that they can win game rather than the reasons they could not. And that's why they're on a 3-game winning streak and starting to put a little distance between them and that playoff line that was cruising a little bit closer at one time. That's my take on it. We got to get the take of the main man, Kenny, who's going to bring a little light into this podcast right now, not just with his opinions and his intakes, but the fact that he's in a place that has power. Time to bring in the man with the best music in the business. Here comes Kenny. Kenny, light of my life. You're looking good there, buddy. I know that it was your suggestion that maybe I could go home, and I thought, the boss is giving me a little bit of a break here. I'm going to go home early, do the podcast from home. I think our technical difficulties have always been, how could we describe them, charming, and we keep finding new ways to make sure that we can do new things. Hey, the fact that we got this going, I MacGyvered this thing, put the bubble gum to a straw and a little bit of tin foil, and put it out in the wind to generate some power. And here we are. Kenny and Renny keeps riding on. Love to see it. What do you think of that game tonight?
Yeah, it's good news that you have the tinfoil hat always available for your MacGyver projects. So you could start with that. I'm sure you did. Interesting game, Sean. I mean, on a lot of levels, we knew what kind of game to expect here. We know that the Flames are a team that does not give up a whole lot in terms of high danger chances, especially lately. It's been kind of their calling card during this 5-1-1 stretch leading into the game. But the Jets were actually, I know what you were saying in the open, but you'll be surprised to learn, Sean, that the Jets actually, according to Natural Stat Trick, had the advantage at 5-on-5, 7-4 in high danger chances. When you consider all situations, it was 7 apiece, but expected goals were slightly in favor of the Jets also. So it wasn't. I really thought the Jets' structure was quite sound. Obviously, Mackenzie Weegar, backdoor chance, that's just an unbelievable save by Connor Hellebuyck.
And there was a breakaway, and there was a 2-on-1, and there was one point where a player skated right. I mean, I can think of 4 high danger chances right off the bat. Never mind 7-4. I mean, I don't know those numbers.
Lucic's breakaway went wide, though. I mean, it was from a high danger.
Still a high danger chance.
Nobody shot it wide. I mean, the way that those are tracked is you got to hit the net for it to be a high danger chance. But that's where publicly.
That's just. Yeah, so there was zero possibility of him scoring that goal. I got it. Yeah, I just think that's ridiculous.
I'm with you. It came from a dangerous area.
There's a reason. There's a reason then that look at there was at the end of the second period there were probably 3 high danger chances right in the last 30 seconds right there.
Indeed.
So
Indeed.
I choose not to go by Natural Stat Trick's definition tonight on this one. I think I saw something a little different
fair enough.
there.
No, totally fair. But I do think that overall the Jets were pretty sound defensively. I mean, they had a couple breakdowns.
Great.
I think overall, was it the perfect game plan? No, but they executed fairly well. And as you mentioned, I mean, their contributions from the defense just exceptional. Again, 5 guys involved on the score sheet. 2 more goals gets them to 20. That's among the league leaders. Calgary also has 20 goals from their back end. Another area of, that Daryl Sutter spoke about this morning. But the Jets' ability to get, let's not forget, they had 24 total goals from defensemen last year. They have 20 already in game 38. So it's an impressive total there. And it's been a really impressive stretch for the Jets overall. And I'm impressed by what they did on a lot of fronts. I know you asked Rick Bowness about Kevin Stenlund's line, and we'll dig into that a little bit more. But I just thought it was just an exceptional job by the Jets overall on a lot of fronts there. The other night their stars kind of had to, Kyle Connor got things really rolling, and here their stars were also heavily involved. That goal by Josh Morrissey to Kyle Connor, that give and go, just a thing of absolute beauty to me. His ability to get the puck from Dubois and kind of drag the line, and at first you wondered if he was just trying to skip it over the the Flames players that were coming at him, but the thing lands flat on Kyle Connor's tape, and he has the fortitude to follow the play, knowing that both Flames forwards kind of overcommitted to him. And once the puck was by him, he just shot by him like he was shot out of a cannon, and that allowed him to get to the net for that incredible shot. So that was just an exceptional play by an exceptional player, and on a night where I'm guessing Kyle Connor was kind of, didn't have a whole lot going in the first couple periods, so he found a way in the third. And I'm pretty sure, Sean, I know you caught it, I don't think Josh Morrissey particularly cared for Milan Lucic's suggestion that he dove on that last shift of the second period. When Milan Lucic was skating off the ice, he gave him the 8.5 from the judge as he made his way to the room. I don't think Josh liked that very much. Just knowing him a little bit and knowing how intense he was, he probably didn't appreciate that overly much. But I thought it was I thought this was an impressive game for the Jets on a number of fronts. Again, was it their template? No, but I don't think it was a poor effort. They had a good, gutsy effort. They found a way to get the job done against a team that had been very hot, and you touched on it. We've been talking about this, and the reason why I was a little bit, up in arms when people were suggesting their playoff spot was safe, they were within 3 points of the cut line. Right now, they got themselves a 6-point cushion over the Flames. They've got a 7-point cushion over the Oilers and an 8-point cushion over the Avalanche, though the Avalanche do have a couple games in hand and would technically be in 8th place ahead of the Oilers when it comes to winning percentage. But, I loved the fact that the Jets, you asked Brendan Dillon again, and he, reminded us about his line about the Jets aren't catching up on surprising teams anymore. But he also admitted there was some urgency. And I mean, we know that the standings watch can be a little bit tedious when it starts in, December and November. But this team has taken pride in being near the top. They want to be closer to the top of the conference than to the bottom where you're scratching and clawing for every single point. And going down to the last game or two of the season. I mean, I'm not saying they want to go into cruise control mode, but this is a team that has taken pride in their ability to get off to a strong start. And the other part for me, Sean, I mean, the Jets are now plus 24 in the goal differential, right? I mean, goal differential at plus 24, that's a pretty solid total. Like that's second in the conference. Dallas is plus 33 going into tonight. Depending on what happens in the third period there. But it's been an impressive job on that front. And obviously Connor Hellebuyck has a huge part, plays a huge role in that. But this team's ability to commit to their structure, and we'll dig into it further, but their ability to get to the net and generate offense from the back end, and it's not just pretty goals off the rush, though there have been plenty of those. Their ability now lately to get shots through, Dylan DeMello, carrying a shot off the pants of Brendan Dillon. Great job by Dylan Sandberg to put it into a perfect area for a one-timer for Ville Heinola, which is tipped home by Sam Gagner. Those are impressive plays, and it's one of the reasons the Jets are among the league leaders now in goals from defensemen. So, a lot to like for the Jets in this one, I would have to say.
No doubt about it. I will say this. I do disagree with your take that this is not the Jets' blueprint. I think this
Well,
is
it's the
exactly
blueprint with the
the
guys they
blueprint.
have now. I just don't think that
Well,
that's.
but even outside of that, like I think that, and we touched on it. I asked the question to Rick Bowness about how, because I think this was a real, this was the challenge for Rick Bowness, right? And this is what I said. This has been my take for a long time, and I know again when I started with this take a long time ago, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because they loved seeing the circus goals that the Jets scored. We don't see that anymore, right? We don't see it that often. Even when everyone was in the lineup, you didn't see it a lot. The kind of, I used to call them the snake charmer kind of goals. The Jets have gone away from that. Even when Blake Wheeler's in the lineup, they're not doing the dipsy doodle thing that he did with Mark Scheifele for years and years and years and scored from distance. It's the grind. It's the getting to the front of the net. The one thing is you do not get the goals that the Jets are scoring. You do not get Kyle Connor's game winner against the Edmonton Oilers. You do not get the game winner tonight from Sam Gagner or the Dylan DeMello, the Brendan Dillon goal to open the scoring. You don't get those goals if you don't just accept the idea that you need to get gritty and you need to get sandpapery and you need to go dig the puck out of the corners, get it up top, and get to the front of the net really hard. Rick Bowness said it all. I thought this was really interesting. The reason that the Jets keep doing this, especially against a team like the Calgary Flames, is teams just collapse now into the slot, and it's really hard to get passes through. So those, backdoor tap-in kind of goals that I think the Jets just wanted over and over and over again in years past, they're not that easy to come by. They are not there in the playoffs. They just do not exist. And it's why for years I would get really kind of wound up about a lot of these Jets victories where they'd go out and they'd do the snake charmer game and they do it against crappy teams, and everyone would be happy about it. And sometimes they wouldn't start trying until the second period or third period. And then they'd snake charm their way back into the game. And everyone would think it was the greatest. Not everyone, but a lot of people, just absolutely loved that. The Jets don't do that anymore. And at some point, Rick Bowness showed them or got them to buy into the idea that the best way to generate offense is exactly what you saw tonight, exactly what you saw the other night against the Edmonton Oilers. It's to go hard to the net, get the puck back to the other guys. And I loved his take on it was like, look, did we get a little bit lucky tonight with some of those goals going in? Yeah, they did. But what happens is even if those goals don't go in, they hit the goaltender, they fall down, and then you get to whack at it. You get another shot at it, right? It's just a way of getting the puck into the most dangerous areas. And the Jets are fully bought in on that. And Ken, I guess what I'm saying is I don't think the blueprint changes from that when everybody gets back. I think the Jets keep doing this, and their defense is – so this is another game where they allow 2 goals. The previous game, they only allowed 1 goal, 2 goals the game before that. The Jets are starting to get back to, without their full lineup, the defensive behemoth they were at the beginning of the year. And that's why they were so good at the beginning of the year. They were one of the best defensive teams in the league, and that's what they are getting back to right now. So I do think that this is the blueprint, and I think it really bodes well for when the guys start coming back into the lineup. We're expecting maybe as many as 3 players, Nate Schmidt, Cole Perfetti, and Nick Ehlers potentially in their next game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Rick Bowness said you can't expect those guys to be at game speed when they return to the lineup. That's just not the way it works. But I don't think that the Jets are going to take a step back by putting those guys in because everyone else has bought into the right blueprint. And again, it's the same blueprint. It's defense first. It's building gritty, hard-working offense. And by doing that, you give yourself a chance to win every game. And I think that these last 2 games are an example. I'm not buying into natural stat trick. I think that the Calgary Flames generated more tonight. I think their shots show that. I think all of those opportunities we're talking about show that. And yet the Jets survived it and come out on top and look to do it comfortably. So the same way that they did against the Edmonton Oilers. They are finding a way in the Rick Bowness system to be the better team on nights where they're not the better team because that system, A, gives them a chance to win every night and the confidence to win every night. And I don't see that changing going forward.
No, and that's fair. I mean, I just don't think it was a perfect game. I mean, the template was pretty solid. And like you said, that's the way they're going to have to win in the playoffs, provided they get there and continue to play the way that they have. I thought that, the breakdowns were pretty costly today was my only argument on the flip side of that, Sean, even though the template was pretty good. Jets were a little bit late on the Zadorov goal. Actually, it was good hustle on the way back by Mark Scheifele, and honestly, he tried to lift the stick a hair too late. Is what happened. Like when he went to do the lift, is when Zadorov shot. I don't think the effort was poor on the back check by any stretch of the imagination. And on the other goal by Backlund, which was an absolute beauty to the 5-hole, it looked like Dylan DeMello just blew a tire. So I don't think it was played poorly in terms of the structure in the neutral zone. It just so happened that Dylan DeMello kind of either, I couldn't tell for sure if he stepped on the stick of Mangiapane or if he just kind of caught an edge and fell down, which kind of created that breakaway opportunity and a really nice finish by Backlund, who, for my money, Sean, was probably the best flame out there today. I liked Rasmus Anderson's game, but Backlund 8 shots on goal in 10 attempts. Pretty good for a defensive center, I would say.
No doubt.
But, in terms of the Jets, like I said, I wasn't arguing with the template. I think you're right on that. But I just didn't think – I thought there were a couple breakdowns that were a little bit costly. So I think they need to play better to have success in the playoffs. But, I mean, that is what it's going to have to look like on most nights. I agree with you there, getting to the blue paint, getting shots through, creating chaos in front. But I do think that the reason I said I didn't think it was a perfect template is that I think that they can play better once some of those guys come into the lineup that you were mentioning, Sean. I mean, and we'll dig into that after we go lamplighter and everything else.
No doubt. Well, let's go in that direction. But first, let's give a shout out to how good you're looking and me looking like a guy who went into his T-shirt drawer and grabbed something in the dark, because that's exactly what I did. I was as surprised as any of you to see what I was dressed in when I started the show here. I don't have any of those like joke T-shirts or anything like that, so I thought I'd be safe doing whatever we did. But here we are. But you're looking like $1 million. Look like a guy who's headed on down to Vittorio Rossi on Corydon Avenue, Ken, to go see Frankie and the boys, who absolutely know something or two about making you look like $1 million. Yeah, geez, I gotta move those two away from each other. Sorry, but hey, if you want to look like Kenny, if you want to look like Renny, go on outside and cut your power, and then go feel around in the dark and grab a T-shirt, and that's what you'll look like. If you want to look like Kenny, it's just not possible feeling your way around in the dark. And a guy like Frankie brings the light when it comes to dressing like $1 million. Head on down to Corydon Avenue, go see the boys of Vittorio Rossi. They'll take care of you. Make sure you tell them Kenny and Renny sent you. Ken, I think I know where you're going to go with this, but give me your lamplighter of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of folks in the chat room are calling for the Sam Gagner redirector as the winner. Sorry, that's got to be that's my honorable mention. Obviously, it's an important goal, and it's a nice play on a lot of fronts. But to me, I mean, it's the Josh Morrissey goal. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind it is the prettiest goal of the evening. Great job down low by Pierre-Luc Dubois to get the puck up top, and Morrissey just absolutely, dances through two Flames players, gets to the net, and then Kyle Connor just makes an exceptional one-touch pass, and it's just ripped home by Morrissey for his 7th goal of the year, his 43rd point of the season. Just another, impressive contribution on a night where we know that Josh Morrissey was under the weather, according to Rick Bowness. It's one of the reasons why he dressed 7 defensemen and 11 forwards. Still, Josh Morrissey played 28 shifts for .2357, 3 shots on goal, 4 attempts, 2 hits, and a takeaway. So I think that his goal was the prettiest one of the night, and that's why I have chosen it as my lamplighter, sponsored by the good folks at Trans Canada Brewing Company.
I'm just gonna say what Josh Morrissey is doing this year is stupid. It is off the chain. That goal is something else from 2 super skilled players. I mean, this is a situation where Josh Morrissey, think about this for a second. If you're a defenseman, you're right up against the line. You've got 2 guys pressing you. If they chip the puck off your stick, there's going to be a good scoring chance going in the other direction. Most guys they're the lizard brain at that stage. They're in survival mode. They're just trying to get by in that situation. Josh Morrissey has the wherewithal to not only send the puck in a direction where only Kyle Connor can get it, but you'll get this, Ken, like those kind of plays where you're going in and you go to pass a puck to a guy to try and tap it in, but if you make it too obvious, the goalie's just going to move to where the puck is and stop it. What you want to do is you want to throw that puck just close enough to the goalie that the goalie thinks he can like put his stick out and stop it, but if he misses it, he's already committed to one spot, and now it's just a tap-in goal, right? These are the little kind of hockey IQ things. Well, what happens in that situation is Josh Morrissey throws it to a place where only Kyle Connor can get it, but the other two defensemen are thinking as he chases for it that they can disrupt him. So they commit and leave the very area that Josh Morrissey goes into after Josh Morrissey button hooks and leaves two defenders in the dirt. In that single play, Josh Morrissey cleared out 4 Flames defenders in that situation and left himself wide open for that shot in front of the net. This is like insane hockey IQ that we're watching on display from Josh Morrissey in that play, and the way that he buries it. I love that. Usually this season, when he's been given an opportunity, you think of those, overtime goals that he scored. He gets in there, and he's not putting it off the bar and in. It's just these very confident kind of middle of the net, but in a spot where the goaltender can't get it. He's just out and out beating goaltenders. This, to me, I know people are doing this, and they're doing it because it's the game winner. But the fact that everyone keeps calling Gagne's goal the Ville Heinola goal, I mean, Ville Heinola is wide open. He shoots the puck on net. I'm not taking anything away from this. But the fact that everyone's calling it Ville Heinola's goal is people just want the lamplighter because they want to celebrate. It's the same thing as last show. Say good things about Ville Heinola. Say good things about Ville Heinola. These two goals are not in the same league. One is a player getting a puck to the net, which he should have done, which is the right play, which we will talk about Ville Heinola and how good that was. Another one is an insane level of hockey IQ and execution by both Kyle Connor and Josh Morrissey that very few players ever achieve in their career at any point. This is far and away the lamplighter. It is not a question about it. Great stuff by those two players, and Josh Morrissey just continues to be an absolute stud of epic proportions out there. I didn't think he could surprise me at this stage, Ken. He continues to surprise me. I don't know how he's pulling it off, but give him credit. That's our lamplighter of the game. If you're interested in trying out a little bit of lamplighter amber ale from TransCanada Brewing Company, just share with us your lamplighter of the game, your goal of the game, and you will be automatically entered to win a frosty, delicious 8-pack of TransCanada Brewing Company Lamplighter Amber Ale. If you can't wait for us to hand one out, and I think a lot of people have been getting them so far, head on down TransCanada Brewing Company. Join them in their tap room at 1290 Kenniston. Absolutely great stuff. And before I move on, I should announce that JC, I don't know if I've seen JC in the chat room, but JC is this show's winner of the TransCanada Lamplighter Amber Ale, the 8-pack. All you have to do is first off take this off so you can see this. Direct message me at SN Sean Reynolds. I need your full name, JC, and I need an email. I can send you the voucher, and you do that, I will send you a voucher for a frosty, delicious 8-pack of Lamplighter Amber Ale, the nectar of the gods. You got to check this out. It's good stuff. Congratulations, JC. You are on the clock. Ken, let's move on to the Johnson Group Got You Covered play of the game.
I think it's got to be the Hellebuck save. I know he could.
Oh yeah,
on Uyghur. I just think that was at a critical juncture in the hockey game, especially because the Flames still do tie it late in the second on the Zadorov goal with 59.5 to go. Had he given up a goal prior to that, maybe the second, maybe the other goal by Zadorov doesn't happen, but it just was one of the. I mean, I understand some people don't like the whole timely save thing, Sean, but I'm sorry. I mean, that timely saves are a thing, right? It's different if you make a save at up 1-0 than if you're up 5-1. I mean, I understand the premise that all goals count the same. Not all saves count the same. In my book, and I know it's in your book as well. To me, the timing of that save on Mackenzie Uyghur on the back door, sticking out the right pad, to me, that's my We've Got You Covered, sponsored by the OGs, the good people at the Johnston Group.
I think you nailed it, Ken. I think you absolutely nailed it. Like the Johnston Group does every time you go and do business with them, and you won't find two businesses with the same challenges, but you will find 30,000 businesses with Chambers Plan employee benefits, proudly administered by our friends at Johnston Group. Chambers Plan is Canada's #1 plan for employee benefits because it evolves with the way you work and live. The plan is run as a not-for-profit designed specifically to support small businesses, and its unique pooling strategy keeps rates stable, so you won't have any surprises at your next renewal. Chambers plan now comes with professional consulting on key financial, legal, and HR issues, and Teladoc telemedicine services are included with every health option. See how Chambers Plan can benefit your business by visiting chamberplan.ca. I said it before, Ken, about the Johnson Group, the Kenny and Renny OGs. I get so proud. I'm a proud Winnipegger. I'm a proud Manitoban. And when you've got a national class, like one of the best in the country businesses operating right out of your backyard here in Winnipeg, you got to appreciate it. They do great things. And of course, we talked about their charitable initiatives at Christmas time as they partnered up with 92 City FM. Great people there who do great things. Hey, someone had brought it up, the headband. People were asking for it. I'm going to do the headband here because there's no heat in the house. I'll take whatever heat I can get at this stage. So let's make this a Sean's headband version of the Kenny and Renny show. All right, for the say something good about Ville Heinola crowd, let's get in and do that because I've got good things to say about Ville Heinola here tonight after his game. I'll go. Okay, you know what I like about it? Beyond the shot, which I thought was great, beyond the idea of him playing alongside Dylan Samberg and really, really looking good in the process. There's a play more than any other play that stands out to me, and it's a simple play. It's simplistic.
Yes, I know where you're going here.
Do you? Okay, so after the Calgary Flames score to tie that game up at 2, they've got all kinds of momentum, and I felt like Ville Heinola. This was the Flames going crazy, and look at the smoke. I just doused some of this. This was the Flames going crazy, and Ville Heinola was the guy who licked his 2 fingers and put it out at the wick. They were for the Calgary Flames were flying, and at one point Nazem Kadri got a little bit of an edge and was going into the zone, and it looked like he was set up in the zone, kind of roll around the boards, have the Jets defense reacting to him, and there was one point he's heading in, and all of a sudden Ville Heinola just activated, sprung out towards him, closed the gap in no time, and just perfectly. And this is a tough, rugged player in Nazem Kadri. Perfectly separated him from the puck, pinned him to the board, neutralized the threat, and I just thought that the puck just kept going. It became a clear and easy possession for the Winnipeg Jets. They loaded up, and I just felt like it was at that point the Flames were just starting to build momentum. They were like a snowball heading down the hill, and Ville Heinola was like a superhero standing in the middle of the hill with his hand pointing out, and the giant snowball hit it and just crumbled and broke, and that was the Flames' momentum. And after that, it wasn't long after that, the Jets headed down and took the lead in this game. And who's the guy who is a part of that? Well, it's Ville Heinola, who gets a great shot on net, puts it where Sam Gagner can tip it. I'm going to give Sam Gagner all the credit in the world for being the guy who goes to the front of the net in that situation, who tips it in. He's showing a real proficiency at being the guy to show up at the right time in the game. How many game winners has he had so far this year? He had the first one of the year against the New York Rangers. I remember that. But put it this way, Ville Heinola, we've talked about him getting more and more opportunities. We've said that, we pointed out the good things that we thought he was doing, and said, I know that I've said on a number of occasions, I wanted to see him get, another opportunity to come out on the ice, or that he had earned another opportunity. Well, Ville Heinola, to me, turned a corner in this game of showing, listen, we need something to happen at this point of the game. I'm going to go make it happen. I'm going to make it happen defensively. Then I'm going to make it happen offensively. And I think what you're seeing here, too, is a head coach who at that point in the game had faith in that player to be out on the ice, to be a difference maker. And Ville Heinola, I mean, this is why the Say Something Nice About Ville Heinola crowd is so invested in Ville Heinola, because this is what he's capable of. So we've talked about this in the past. We've never been people who said Ville Heinola is a bust. He's not going to go anywhere. What we've talked about is the fact that Ville Heinola has been at the NHL level a little careless with the puck at times, and he hasn't been showing this level of what we saw from him here tonight. And this is the way it should go. He's got to establish himself either as a guy who can do what he did tonight consistently offensively, or not make mistakes defensively. And he hadn't established himself as that offensive guy at the NHL level, and he was making mistakes and throwing the puck away defensively. You got to win a job in the NHL. I still believe that. And everyone who's out here saying, well, he would have arrived here anyway, we don't know that that's true. And what we also don't know is what it would have done to a dressing room that has been built on the idea that you get what you earn. Well, here, what I like about what's happening right now with Ville Heinola is he got his opportunity, and now he is getting what he's earning. So all these people who have said he should have been here the whole time, well, I don't think that he had earned his spot before that, getting to where he is now. Now he's earning it. Now Ville Heinola is showing us what he's capable of. Now, I think if you're the head coach of this Winnipeg Jets team, you take a look at Ville Heinola and say, okay, what other situations like this can I use him in? Is he now a guy that I can trust in a tie game? Does his ice time start going up in a tie game? Is that what we see from this player? I know I don't need to worry about him defensively, because he just went out and he snuffed that play with Nazem Kadri, one of the most coveted offensive free agents in the off season, just absolutely shut him down. This is a player who Nazem Kadri should have won that battle. Everything that we know about him and what he's capable of, that's a battle he should have won. Ville Heinola, in my mind, that was an announcing of his arrival in this league moment for me. That he stood up to a player like that, shut him down so efficiently, got the puck back, and ends up going down the other way and getting that done. Ville Heinola deserves more time. He's earned that time, and that's the way it should be. All the people out there who've been screaming and ripping their hair out, I get it, I understand it, and I understand why you felt that way, because I think we all knew what Ville Heinola is capable of, but you got to earn it. And rooms are better off when players are forced to earn it, and the Jets room is doing great right now. But beyond that, players themselves are better off when they're forced to earn it. Ville Heinola has earned everything he has. This isn't a hand you an opportunity. This isn't a Christian Vesalainen situation where he just keeps getting opportunity and after opportunity after opportunity. This is an earned scenario, and Ville Heinola, I think, is a better off player because he went through a coach who made him earn it.
Yeah, I liked Ville's game a lot today, and I agree with you. I knew that was where you were going. I love that seal play by Heinola.
Awesome.
It's a perfect example of the decision-making happening at an NHL pace, right? He made an assertive play. When you are playing tentatively and you're not confident in your reads and your decisions, you miss Nazem Kadri. He flies by you, the puck ends up in the back of the net, and you slump on the way to the bench and wonder why that happened. I mean, to me, I liked his game a lot. I liked his defensive effort. I like the fact that the plays are becoming more instinctual for him. Overall today, 22 shifts for 15-22. He had an assist. He had 2 shots, 3 attempts, 2 hits, 2 block shots. He was credited with a couple of giveaways, but I loved his game. I liked the fact that he was out there late in the game. He was generating on the game winner, which was Gagne's second of the year. He was involved. I thought he was responsible defensively. He was getting active, but not in a reckless manner, which is so important for him. I understand people want to, always play to your strengths. That's true, but you also have to show that you're improving on your weaknesses, and I think Heinola has done that. I'm curious, too. Let's stay on this topic just for a minute or two. What was your take on his answer to John Liu's question about, the presumption was maybe that Heinola might have to be sent down, and Rick Bowness saying, hey, hang on a second here. Let's wait a couple days. Do you think that Ville Heinola is in the lineup on Friday if Nate Schmidt is back from injury? Which do you think he is?
So I do.
And secondly, who's out then?
Well, I think Dylan Sandberg ends up coming
out.
And I think what we've seen here from the last little while is Dylan Sandberg had struggled to a degree in some plays here, and I don't want to beat up on Dylan Sandberg. I still think that he's done really good for a rookie. But what we've seen from Rick Bowness is when guys are in ice time, guys who have are in certain situations, they don't get penciled in. This isn't the Paul Maurice era where this is my lineup. It's penciled in when these guys get back. This guy gets back in here. This is the Rick Bowness era where he says to guys who have earned a spot in the lineup, you're going to have to take a seat out tonight because other guys are earning this as well. And so this is exactly what we're talking about. And this is why it's right. This is why it's right that Ville Heinola, and it's funny, I laughed when T. Willett said this about me trying to convince that it's not wrong because, the disagreement that you and I had about how Ville needed a whole bunch of games. My take back then was like, you don't just hand a guy a bunch of games. A guy earns games. So this is what I'm talking about. Ville Heinola has earned his time in the lineup to the degree that over the last little while, and who knows, maybe this is part of it. Maybe Dylan Sandberg, knowing that there is a finite amount of positions on this team, is now looking over. He got to play with him tonight. Is now looking over and seeing a guy who he's thinking, okay, I looked like I was established here for a while, and this guy's coming in and establishing himself. Good for him for establishing him. This makes it easier for a coach to trust Ville Heinola because in this last little while, in my mind, I don't know if the coach sees it the same way, but I do think he does based on that answer. I think he takes a look at this and says Ville Heinola has been the better defenseman over the last little while. What does Rick Bowness do with guys who've proved themselves? He keeps them in the lineup. It's why Kevin Stenlund is getting the run that he's getting here. It's why, a guy like Jansen Harkins was waived yesterday because he's not doing, and this again is the stuff that I love hearing from the head coach on this team, is he gave us a real answer that Jansen Harkins was not doing what they needed him to do defensively. And that's what Jansen Harkins was told. And now Jansen Harkins' job is to go down to the Manitoba Moose and to try and fight his way back up. This is what happens here. But I will go through a wall if I am a player for a coach who I go out and prove something to, and he says, you proved something to me, kid. Keep going out there and proving it. That's where Ville Heinola is at right now. And to me, I don't think it's much of a question in my mind at all. Ville Heinola is in because he earned it. Again, that's the right way to do it here. Dylan Sandberg is now a guy who's going to have to wait for his opportunity and bust his way back into the lineup and do some special things. Everyone on this Jets team is trying to reach higher and higher and higher and beyond their capabilities because Rick Bowness has set up a structure where they have to do that if they want to be in the lineup. It would have made sense to not do that with Ville Heinola. He didn't, and Ville Heinola is better off for it.
Yeah, I mean, so you touched on it here. So Harkins we expect to be sent to the Moose. What are the two other moves if both Perfetti and Ehlers are out of the lineup then? Does Dylan Sandberg, because he's waivers exempt, does he get sent to the Moose for a couple days or for the weekend? Or because I'm with you. I think that both Ehlers and Perfetti, and along with Schmidt, all play this weekend. I think it's possible that all three play on Friday. So who's going to have to go down? That means two more players. I mean, it's not official yet, but we expect, because of the fact that Rick said they had to decide tonight on Harkins, I mean, they don't have to decide until Friday. So to me, that means they're probably made a decision that Harkins will be sent to the Moose, but they still need two guys. That means the only other guys that wouldn't not require waivers would be Christian Reichel, because it's within the 30-day period, and he hasn't played 10 games yet, and Sandberg or Heinola, but they could also send Gustafsson down, which he requires waivers. Never mind. He's
right.
He's out of his ELC, I believe. So
right.
Anyways, they have some hard decisions here if they got to clear the 3 spots. And I mean, never mind, they're going to have to clear 2 more. I understand that. But I'm very curious what happens next. I mean, Asamont is a possibility, I guess. It looked like he was going to play. I mean, he took the line rushes. I thought that if Capobianco was playing, that they would have had him take a turn or two during the line rushes during the pregame warm-up. Instead, it was Asamont, which kind of threw us for a little bit of a curve. Asamont obviously is sort of, his status has kind of dipped a little bit in terms of going from a guy who was in the top 6 to kind of being out of the lineup as a healthy scratch. Carson Kuhlman is a guy that, here's the risk, Sean. We talked about this in the stands the other day. So Kuhlman, if he is placed on waivers, Seattle can claim him back for free if there's no other claims, and then they can send him to Coachella Valley, right? So, but sorry, LB, Ville doesn't kill penalties, but Nate Schmidt does. So if Nate Schmidt is in, Nate Schmidt will kill the penalties that Dylan Sandberg normally kills, if that is the way that they go. It's super interesting. And also too, we could dig in a little bit further. Who were the two? We expect the Jets to go back to 12-6 on Friday. I thought it worked fine, but let's not say it was a smashing success. Kyle Capobianco had 5 shifts for 404. That doesn't mean that 11-7 worked. They barely played the 7th defenseman, so it didn't hurt them, and it helped some of their other skilled guys get rolling with a couple double shifts. And I'm not opposed to it when they're not playing again for 3 days. But again, I don't think that by any stretch this is the optimal lineup for the Jets in terms of how they're going to roll out. And they got some other tough choices up front. David Gustafsson, his spot is being pushed right now. I don't know. Top Line Media says, I have a funny feeling Capobianco may be waived Thursday, and we see some time between Sandberg and Heinola for a bit. It's possible, but the Jets already lost Jonathan Kovacevic off waivers. The simpler move, or the path of least resistance, is to send somebody down who doesn't require waivers. So I don't know that the Jets would want to risk losing another defenseman. It's possible that happens, and I'm not disputing it. I just don't know that that's their first choice. So we'll see what happens. It's very fascinating here, and we'll see if they can stay healthy. And I want to say, before we go to Lou here, classic Michael Remus. No surprise Ken would snub a guy scoring his first goal of the year. It is the second time that I did that. And I loved the playfulness of Brendan Dillon when I asked him what part of the body the puck went off of. And he said, pants, yes.
His big old butt.
Big butt. He already had a classic song, but it would have been hilarious if they had played Big Butts as his goal song for that one. Instead of, but anyways, that would have been. That would have worked. But
okay, time to give our main man Lou a shout out.
Sure, for all the folks in the realty realm, if you're looking to buy, you're looking to sell, you're looking to see what things are worth in your neck of the woods, in your neighborhood, or maybe potentially moving into another neighborhood, downsizing, upgrading, whatever the case may be, contact Lou Ferlin of Royal LePage Dynamic Realty. You can reach him at 204-791-9971 or 204-989-5000 at the office. You can also reach Lou by email, lou@louferlin.ca. That's LOU@LOUFURLAN.ca. And his website is www.louferlin.ca. I can speak from personal experience. Lou is my realtor. He's found me 2 awesome condos, and he did a great job of selling the first one when we moved into the second. So he's also a great human being and a great supporter of of the community as a whole, but also athletics in our great community, and we're thrilled to have him on board.
Loving Sweet Lou. Absolutely love Sweet Lou. And you know what? I'm ready to hand out a home field Dig Deeper award here tonight. I'm going to throw this one in the direction of Baba Jet. And so I'm glad that he did this, because I like someone who's capable and has the courage to swim against the current. Baba Jet said Ville played great. Was not a perfect game, though. He turned the puck over in his own end on the PP once and was lucky it didn't go back the other way. So this was something I was going to say. I didn't throw it in there because I know, and I don't know, maybe that's a problem for me. I know that there's a lot of people who are like, oh, everyone picks through Ville's game with a fine-tooth comb, and it's not fair. But I did want to say this. It was an early power play. They sent out the second unit, and Ville went in, tried to skate the puck through the entire team, turned the puck over, and it went the other way. And I just, you could see it in the, I remember instantaneously looking over at Kevin Stenlund, because Stenlund in that situation, I was looking over and you could just see the body language. Here's these guys, and yes, I get it. Their secondary power play unit is mostly Manitoba Moose players with a couple other guys on there, so the crowd's not expecting a lot from them. But you know this from a guy like Kevin Stenlund. He wants to get out there and prove everybody wrong. He wants to get out there and be like, look, we can do this. We can get out there and do this. And I just thought that play by Ville was that's a small time play, right? That's an AHL play right there. I'm going to go and I'm going to walk the entire Calgary Flames defense and go through everybody, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to score my goal. Not happening. Not happening at the NHL level unless your name is Connor McDavid or someone of that vintage. One could look at it and say, hey, maybe there was courage that he tried that. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it, and the way that I think the players on the ice are looking at it, is that's a selfish play in that situation. That what it does is it kills an opportunity for a bunch of guys who don't get that opportunity very often. And with the players that are returning on the horizon, like Cole Perfetti and Nick Ehlers, that's an opportunity those players aren't going to be getting anymore very soon. There's just no time for a player to try and do that, to try and walk an entire team in that situation. What it does is you're making it about yourself and not making it about everybody else. So that was the first thing that I wrote down about Ville Heinola tonight, because I thought, geez, that's just it's the situation where he's not getting it. I give him all the credit in the world for the bounce back that he had, and I still say this: he was a difference maker out there tonight, and I love that he killed the momentum. I give him a huge chunk of the Jets' victory here tonight. But to the point of what's happening here, these are the warts in the game of a young player that are gonna come up even on nights where Ville Heinola, again, I think had a huge part of that win. Bubba Jet, bring it up again. Direct message me at SN Sean Reynolds. You've won one of those super fancy trunk shovels from Home Field. It's got a great etching in the handle of both Home Field and KNR. Congratulations. You dug a little deeper here tonight, Bubba Jet, and you are our Dig Deeper Award winner of the evening. Ken, I want to talk about...
Eagle Eyes is getting a quick wake up here. Who hates Heinola more, Kenny or Renny? Come on, man. Nobody hates anybody. And you should also, as we like to say, check the receipts. I am on record last year numerous times. Ville Heinola has the skill set to potentially be a top pairing defenseman. I've said it and I'll say it again, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't need to do more. The reason why Rick Bowness said tonight he played the way we need him to play is because he hasn't played at that level at a consistent basis yet. That's all Sean and I have been saying. He needs to do more to become an NHL regular, and today was an important step in that process. I mean, there's no hate anywhere. I mean, that's just silly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's right there.
Our job isn't to hate.
I hate him. He's exposed me. Eagle Eyes has exposed me. There's numerous players that I just absolutely hate and stab myself under the table with a fork. And Eagle Eyes nailed it. There's another one right there. Absolutely got it. No, I like this. Eagle Eyes says he's just winding us up.
Oh, yeah,
I
perfect.
appreciate that. I like that. I like that. Hey,
here's a good one too. Here's another good one.
What's that?
Kenny loves Capobianco more.
There we go. Anyways, okay.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Two players we have to talk about before we move on here. Kevin Stenlund, because I just let's start with Kevin Stenlund. We have to talk about Lowry, because I think Lowry gets a huge due in this game for two plays that I want to talk about. But let's talk about Stenlund quickly. This I absolutely love. So we give the idea of Ville Heinola being a momentum turner in that game, and I entirely believe that's the case when he sealed off Kadri and stole the puck from him and turned things around for the Jets. I give all the credit in the world to Stenlund and his line mates for going out with under 3 minutes left in that game against a very, very good line, grinding the hell out of that line for a long time, stealing away any momentum that they have. Never mind just stealing away the momentum, giving them no sniff of any kind of offensive, ability to kind of build that snowball and build that offensive momentum, and basically make that line tap out and ice the puck. So they ice the puck, gives an opportunity for the Jets to change and send out Pierre-Luc Dubois' line. Pierre-Luc Dubois' line comes out, and then they draw the penalty. So what you saw at the end of the game was a Calgary Flames team that in the last 36 seconds or so was able to generate some pretty great opportunities with their goalie out, but it was limited to 30 seconds, and the reason it was limited to them throwing everything they had at the Jets for 30 seconds was because of Kevin Stenlund and his line. Ken, you had talked about players who were getting sent down. Is there a world that exists the way that Rick Bowness views Kevin Stenlund right now that he would ever be sent down to the Manitoba Moose?
Well, I would never say never, but I would say that his 11-game sample size is growing, and he is not going anywhere anytime soon, is what I would say. I've liked him a lot, and the reason why he's going nowhere soon is this. Tonight he played 305 on the power play and 203 shorthanded. So nobody who's that involved in a game is going to be sent anywhere, and nor should he be. He's done a really nice job of enhancing his role, of showing the coaching staff that he's able to do more, and the fact that he continues to do more. I mean, he had a couple tough one-timers in the game, but outside of that, I mean, big deal. The guy is playing very well. This is one of the first games he wasn't as good in the face-off circle, 39% only, but he has certainly vaulted himself past several players on the Jets roster, and he is not in any danger of either coming out of the lineup or being exposed to waivers right now. He just gives them an element that they don't have a lot of in terms of being a right-hand shot, a big-bodied guy, and even though he's not overly physical, he gets involved. So for me, I think he's been very solid, and I think there's more to give. I think he has an offensive element that he can get to the point where he can become one of those complementary players. And there too, Craig Zamzo, as he said, quite a bit of time on the ice for Stenlund late in the game, and that's a testament to how he's played, which is impressive. And he was even out there for an important draw late in the game also. So, you don't earn an NHL job based on 11 games, but it's a very important, jumping off point for him. And I've been incredibly impressed. And I just want to tackle something quickly. I started the comment, I think. I'm just going to go over this quickly. Sorry to change gears. David Martino. I thought DeMello was tripped, interfered with on the second Flames goal. This is why I disagree. In real time, I agree with you, David. I thought the first thing that I saw was, there's no chance DeMello just fell down. And the fact that it was Mangiapane there led me to believe there could have been some interference. But here's the reason why there was no penalty. You could tell by DeMello's reaction. DeMello looked up to the sky and was like, how the heck did that happen? If he thought it was tripping, there's no way he doesn't go with the official. And even though, I'm not saying he would have got a 2-minute unsportsmanlike conduct or a 10-minute misconduct, but there's no way he doesn't even look in the direction of the referee if he thought it was a blatant trip. So to me, I think that was another sign that it wasn't a penalty and the correct call was made and the goal counted. I think it was just he just blew a tire and that was that.
Well, never mind. He was beat on the play. Like, even if he stands up, he's beat. The players past him. So it's going to be hard to get a call for tripping. That would have been kind of an incidental type play when he's out of position and got beat there anyway. And I don't think it's his fault that he was out of position. Going to make a couple quick comments here before we get to Lowry. PLD got PLD'd by Uyghur on the night, but this is what I absolutely love about it. He kept going at him. Like, that's what I love about it, right? Like, rather than being like, okay, I've learned my lesson, I'm going to stay away from that guy. He just kept going at him and then got him into the box later on. Like, to me, listen, if you are going to end up going to the playoffs, and especially the way things are looking right now with the Jets being an upper team, there's a good chance the Jets, if they're able to catch the Dallas Stars, could end up playing a team from the Pacific Division. Sitting in a wild card spot, right? Maybe it's the Calgary Flames. I love the kind of mental warfare that Pierre-Luc Dubois continued even after he got busted and ends up in the box and gets PLD'd by Mackenzie Uyghur, that he didn't stop being PLD. He just kept going at it. I absolutely love that he did that.
I'm actually surprised. He definitely deserved the first penalty. I thought he actually was going to draw the only minor on Uyghur for the retaliation after he ripped his helmet off, because there was no
Sure.
arm in the air before that. It looked like he was
Yeah.
getting ready to settle the score, one apiece, and I'm not sure if the second ref got involved or not, but they evened it out at a time where it looked like Uyghur might have been the only guy. I thought it might have been a 4 and a 2 there.
I
Didn't
thought
you?
so
Didn't
too.
you? I thought Uyghur was
I,
getting the extra 2.
I did, but if you look at
Oh, I
the
agree with you
replay,
totally.
not only does Pierre-Luc Dubois rip his helmet off, but he gives him a real good rabbit punch.
For
Eh?
sure.
Like
But he did it
he
when he
gives
was
him a good
falling
rabbit
down,
punch.
so both you and I thought he might get away with it, right? I mean, it was as
I
on his way to
I
the
just think
ground.
that the ref probably saw what we saw in the
Agreed.
replay, right?
No,
The ref was
fair.
watching it, and so I think it's one of those situations where, like
Right
uh,
call again. But I just didn't think it was going to
yeah,
happen.
it was the right call. But at the same time, if that's the right call, Pierre-Luc Dubois getting the penalty earlier on is the wrong call because
He
like
gave
what
2
I see in
more,
that
though, right? That
situation.
was retaliation, like
No,
we
but
always
I
say.
know,
That
but
was full
yeah,
retaliation.
sure. But what I saw in that play was I saw Uyghur give him like the initial cross check, and
Agreed.
I saw PLD sell the call a little bit, right? I talk about this all the time. He kind of goes backwards, like he's like, "Whoa," and it's him selling the call. Tell me I'm wrong, right? Like it's him. He didn't really get hit that hard. He's trying to draw him in, and once he draws him in, gets the cross check, he tries to sell it. And so when the ref doesn't get it, he's like, okay, well, fine, then I'm going to go and I'm going to get him back, and he nails him. He nails him a couple times, and then I think Uyghur sells the call. That's what I mean about him being PLD'd. I don't think he cross-checked Uyghur so hard that he fell to the ice. I think Uyghur felt the pressure and went with the pressure and fell down, and so he drew the call. But to me, if I'm the ref, he who's watching that whole situation, like I guess I'm okay with okay, put it this way. I'm okay with the idea of, okay, you didn't learn your lesson and you're going to retaliate. Okay, you end up in the box. But if that's how the ref was calling the game, then to your point, later on, Uyghur should have got the extra in that situation, because if you're applying the rules the way that you did to the first one that resulted in a Pierre-Luc Dubois penalty, I think in the second situation, it should have resulted in a Uyghur penalty. Okay, let's talk quickly about Adam Lowry. I'm just going to bring this up. The DeMello shot on net that's tipped in by Brendan Dillon, that goal is all Adam Lowry. And if you go back and you watch that shift, he is a warrior in front of the net and creating so much chaos that the Calgary Flames goaltender never gets really set and comfortable in that situation, because Lowry is just absolutely creating chaos. That goal to me is more his than almost anyone else on the ice, including the guy who shot it and the guy who tipped it in. And then I think of that. He got the scoring started by creating all that, and he ends that game by lying down and blocking that shot and really shutting things down when it got hairy at the end of the game there. Adam Lowry is the calm hand on the steering wheel that the Winnipeg Jets desperately need in situations like that they desperately need on the penalty kill, which is firing on all cylinders as of late. Adam Lowry needs his due for what he means to this team. Ken, both you and I were blown away that he re-signed with the Jets for what he signed for. I think Adam Lowry is a player worth at least $1 million more every single year than what he signed for. He is a huge influence on a team, and I think that quietly, never mind what he's done lately with Mark Scheifele, this guy is a quiet MVP on this team, and again earned that every step of the way.
Yeah, certainly he'd be on the unsung hero list, and I mean he doesn't end up on the list because this is just what he does, right? I mean, his offensive production is up, but this is the way that Adam Lowry plays, and his teammates appreciate it. They have since he arrived in the NHL. Just another just rock solid tilt. 24 shifts, 1742, 2 shots on goal, 3 hits, a blocked shot, 75% in the dot. I mean, just an impressive showing all around. He's done a nice job with Mark Scheifele. I'll be curious to see how the lines shake up. If you see both, I would expect Perfetti to be back with Lowry and Scheifele, I think. Wouldn't you? Or, I mean, it's possible you could put him up with Pierre-Luc Dubois and Kyle Connor, but I'm expecting him to go back with Mark Scheifele. But, we'll see if that means Scheifele moves to the wing and Lowry goes to center, or if they ask Cole Perfetti to play in his offside and play on the right wing. But, I mean, I think that he and Scheifele will both, Perfetti will go back with Scheifele and Lowry will stay with Scheifele for now. I'll be curious though if it's Lowry with Stenlund on a more of a traditional checking line once that next wave of players is back, with Wheeler, Meneline, and Appleton, when those guys kind of get back in the mix a little bit further down the road here. Because you could see a real, we talked about the possibility of Lowry staying up, but I think that Lowry's going to go back to the middle on the checking plus line at some point here. But he's been really good.
Eventually, I just wonder if a guy like Kuhlman gets sent down, and I wonder if Perfetti ends up back on that line with Kyle Connor and Pierre-Luc Dubois. I mean, we've seen that before. I know they eventually want to get Perfetti back onto a line with Mark Scheifele, but I wonder if that's not what they do, is load that line up because it makes more sense than what you're talking about.
I just think for Friday, though, Sean, I mean, it's tough because those guys are playing 20 plus, and I don't know that Perfetti's ready for 20 plus minutes right now, but you can start him there, and see how it goes. I mean, I'm not saying, it's just when you miss time and there's a Christmas break. I mean, you're asking a lot out of anyone, let alone a young guy coming off an injury. But I mean, I think you could start there for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, before we shut this down here, I wanted to say something out there.
Hey, party! Plug the party.
Oh yeah, I will. People may say this is a hot take, but on a night like tonight, when I go and I just think that I thought that Pierre-Luc Dubois' line, we really didn't talk about it, but looked really good every time they were out on the ice. I thought they were the better line out there. Kyle Connor got that really great opportunity in front of the net. I had this thought. I just wanted to bring it up. We know how good Kyle Connor and Pierre-Luc Dubois have turned out together. Everyone should remember and give Paul Maurice credit that his very first instinct when they first brought Pierre-Luc Dubois in was to put Kyle Connor and Pierre-Luc Dubois on a line together. I don't think anyone thought it made sense at the time. I think everyone was left scratching their heads. Say what you want, and I know he's in trouble, and I was the first one to say I thought it was a disastrous move to hire Paul Maurice in Florida. But every time I say these things, I want to make sure that the stuff that we see from the Jets that Paul Maurice owns a part of, we should give credit where it's due, and that Rick Bowness was inheriting some very interesting angles and abilities from this Jets team that have Paul Maurice's thumbprints all over them. And give Maurice credit, what he was the first one to see or even consider what we are seeing from Pierre-Luc Dubois and Kyle Connor, and I think that's a pretty special pairing that he saw out of the gate. Give him credit for that. Time to shut things down. Before we do, Ken mentioned it, on the 21st, we are having another Kenny and Renny live broadcast down at TransCanada Brewing Company. Get a hold of me at SN Sean Reynolds. If you want to come down, you should come down. Come check it out. It's going to be $20 per ticket. You come on down, $20 gets you your first drink for free. And it also gets you a taste, a pizza buffet that you can try all their amazing, delicious pizzas. I'm through not even a third of that menu because they got so much good stuff. And there has been no misses so far. So I want to get the rest of them. I was too busy talking to guys like T. Will last time and talking them off the edge of all their bad takes. So that's a lot of talking you have to do with a guy who has so many bad takes. So there wasn't enough time for me to kind of fill my face with pizza because I had too much coming out to try and bring T. Will back to earth with some of his takes there. So I'm going to do a better job this time, but we'd love it if you'd come join us. So get a hold of me at SN Sean Reynolds, and I'll set some tickets aside for you. Other than that, Kenny, great job tonight. Great job by the chat room. Thanks for enduring my light, which is getting lower and lower and lower. Here, the Blair Witch Project version of the Kenny and Renny show. And I want to end this the way that I always do, thanking our sponsors and saying to you, if you appreciate the conversations that are happening in these spaces in the Winnipeg sports scene, please appreciate the sponsors who are investing in keeping these conversations going for us. That's Vittorio Rossi, TransCanada Brewing Company, the Johnston Group, Lou Ferlin, and Home Field Marketing Services. Thank you so much to them. Thank you so much to you. For those of you who are going to be taking the Jet Skills competition, enjoy that. Other than that, we will see you on Friday for what should be a barn burner between the Winnipeg Jets and the Tampa Bay Lightning. See you then, everybody.